Hey everybody, Eric Smith, Race Review Online again with racereviewonline.net, part of the Prime Sports Network. We're talking IndyCar this week. NASCAR is on the off week. IndyCar is back in action after a week off. The eighth race of 17, so we're kind of nearing the halfway point. I know since it's an odd number, you're not really going to have that true halfway. The paddock kind of considers Mid-Ohio that spot. It's 4th of July weekend, 9 races, so you're just kind of past the halfway point when you get there. So we're nearing that point. The reason I mention that because it segues us to the first point of the things I'm watching for this weekend, Sonsio Grand Prix at Road America. It's Alex Palou's points lead. It's kind of grown to an insurmountable almost point to where he came into the month of May for the GMR Grand Prix 9 points down. So he was close. He comes to Road America 51 points up. He's just been untouchable. He's in a string of races where he started third, first. He's finished first, fourth, and he's led 162 of 385 laps in the process. So that is kind of taking him to a point to where you've got to be damn near perfect to catch him. And the problem is he's not going to make a lot of mistakes. At this point, you've got to look at the tracks coming up, and you got Road America this weekend. And he won he was third there in 2020 as a rookie. He won in 2021. So he knows how to get around this track. And he was running third when him and his teammate Marcus Ericsson had an issue early in the race last year. After that, as I just mentioned, we had a week off, then we go to Mid-Ohio. He's finished third and second the last 2 years there. Then after that, week off, we're going to Toronto on a street course to where first time he ever raced there was last year. He was sixth as a rookie. And on street courses this year, the last two, he's finished fifth and first, respectively. After that, you go to Iowa for a doubleheader. So there's no reason to think that if Palou just does what he has done on these tracks, we could go to the month of August and his points lead could be approaching 100 at that point. And it might be too great to catch because you also got to look at what's coming up in August. You got Nashville. He was on the podium last year. You got the return to the Indy road course where he just won by 19 seconds last month. You've got Portland ahead to where he won in 2021, which is he won his championship that year. And you also got Monterey to where he won last year by 30 seconds in the season finale. All those are still ahead, so you don't show any signs of him slowing down, which leads me to believe that's why his points lead's big to watch this week. And can somebody cut into that deficit, or does he widen it even more heading to another off week before Mid-Ohio? Next point I'm watching, can Grosjean an award rebound? Oddly enough, through the first 5 races of the season, so we're going into the Indy 500, one of them finished second every race. Every time out, it's either Pato or Grosjean. And they've kind of slid since then. Specifically for Pato, entering Road America now, he's 82 points back of the lead. Grosjean's 128. This is a good track where both of them could kind of rebound, but I just told you Palou stats. Do you feel good about these guys rebounding? I don't. Award came into this season. He was wanting more. He's been close the last few years. He just couldn't get the job done. He just lacked the top 5s and podiums. This year, he's showing you how the speed, but he's also making mistakes. That's the difference in this. And I took it deeper. He started off with 2 wins each of his first 2 seasons in the sport, in the IndyCar series. He also had 9 podiums in that same 2-year span, 5 in 2021, 4 in 2022. Out of his 8 top 5 finishes a year ago, only 4 of them are on the podium. That's the difference between winning a championship. This year, he started off good. He's got 3 runner-up finishes. But then you look at what's happened. He was overzealous in Long Beach, started drama with Scott Dixon, finished 16th. The Indy 500, he was running third. He was mad he got passed. He was leading, got passed. Shuffled to third on that late race restart, pushed too hard to get by Marcus Ericsson, crashed in turn 3, took him back down again. And then Detroit, leading coming to his pit stop, slow pit stop. They made an issue, had an issue. He tried to push too hard and crashed. You take those 3 mistakes out of it, he's very well probably with Alex Palou in his championship race. But for some reason, mistake after mistake, and he's pushing too hard, and it's been an issue. Same thing with Grosjean. St. Pete battling for the lead after the final pit stop at 29 to go. Crashed. A crash with 2 laps to go or running 4th in Texas. A crash in the Indy 500. A crash while running 7th in Detroit. His finishes in those races, 18th, 14th, 30th, and 24th. The races he's not had any problems, 2nd, 11th. So if he doesn't have issues, he's up front. Grosjean comes to Road America for a track that's kind of ran like Barber. That's a track where he started on the pole and finished runner-up. He's 2 for 2 with top 5 finishes at Road America. Award has 3 top 10s in his last 5 starts there. He did blow an engine last year. That was kind of an issue that McLaren was plagued with on these type of tracks. You've got to think they fixed it. So that's why I'm watching again those two rebound, which segues into the next one. It's going to be hard for them to rebound when the big two, Ganassi and Penske, are just dominating, not only this track, but on the season. Excuse me. They've won each of the last 4 Road America races, 7 of the 8 since the series returned there in 2016. They've got the most podiums scored there, with Penske having 9 and Ganassi 7. Excuse me. Excuse me. They've also won the last 10 season championships. They're 6 for 7 on the races this year as far as wins, and they won 40 of the 54 races, 75.4% with this aero screen. If you go back to the 2002 Indy 500, they've won 16 of the last 19 races. That's 84.2%. Penske's won 9 times in the span, Ganassi 7. Andretti's next best, second, or 2 wins. McLaren's got 1. They've got each of the top 4 in the points right now and 6 of the top 8. So for Grosjean with Andretti, Award with McLaren, to close that gap, they're going to have to beat the big 2. Penske's won last year's race, should have won the year before. They're looking for their 4th win in 9 tries there. A couple of drivers, which I'm going to tie this all in together, that I'm watching for this is because they're part of these big 2 teams. Newgarden led 32 laps, should have won from the pole in 2021. His car quit on the final restart. He did lead 26 laps last year for the win. He led 53 of 55 laps in his 2018 win as well. He was 3rd in 2019 and runner-up in 2017. He's got to be a guy we're watching this weekend. Scott McLaughlin, 14th in 2021, 7th last year. It seems like 14, 7, 1. Could be. He won at Barber, so he's also a guy that you want to watch. He's got 4 career wins. 3 of them are on natural road courses like this one. And Will Power's got 3 top 2 finishes in his last 8 tries there with a podium and 4 of them at that. He was 3rd at Barber this past April, 3rd at this track in 2021. So he's one that you definitely want to watch for the Penske camp. However, Ganassi's going to be tough to beat. Dixon's got 5 top 5s, including 2 wins and a 3rd-place effort in his last 7 tries there. He was 9th a year ago, 7th and 6th, respectively, natural road courses in 2023. You know he wants to close that gap. He enters 4th in points. He wants to come after Palou, who I talked about his stats earlier. We won't rehash that. You know he's going to be tough to beat. Ericsson, 10th in race 1, 4th in race 2 in 2020, 6th and 2nd, respectively, the last 2 years as well. He was 10th and 8th on the natural road courses this year, so it's not spectacular, but it's not bad either. So he should be in the rain, and I would really watch their rookie teammate, Marcus Armstrong, who these kind of tracks are like European-type style tracks, and we've seen him finish the top 11 all but 1 race this season. So he's another one you're probably going to want to watch. So the big 2 are going to be the 2 to beat. Next thing I'm watching, the repave. The track record could fall this weekend. It's been set by Dario Franchitti in the late 90s. The problem is with this repave, it's going to change the way this races a little bit, because with the repave, just like on the NASCAR side, it adds more grip. You add more grip, you add more speed. It's tough to pass. So I'm curious how the repave is going to work, because that's the 4th point I'm watching. Nobody truly knows. They tested there, but you really don't know what it's going to do until you actually get all the cars out on track. So we'll be watching the repave. And the last one, the dynamic between Ryan Hunter-Reay and Ed Carpenter Racing. During the off week last week, Ed Carpenter Racing announced that them and Connor Daly mutually decided to part ways. Daly's kind of was treated as a scapegoat, even though he finished ahead of Rinus VeeKay 4 of the 7 races. His sponsors say maybe for now. We'll see if that I know there's contracts in place. They'll probably be there through the end of the year, but next year's where the key is going to be, is if Bitnall stays. I digress. However, that puts Ryan Hunter-Reay in. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for somebody to come in and put them in the right direction. Connor told me on and off the record about the team dynamic there. Just the cars just weren't good. They're lacking grip. They're lacking downforce. They're lacking speed because of that. And the team, I get it. Hunter-Reay's a veteran. They're looking for some guidance to point them in the right direction. The only thing, is Hunter-Reay has mentioned that it's going to be tough for him, because he hasn't driven a Chevy on a road course in a race since 2013. So that could cause some issues there, because there is some subtle differences. I got an article up about it right now. When I talked to him the other day about some issues that could creep up because of that, because there's a difference between Honda and Chevrolet, what the cars do, braking points, all that type of thing. So he's going to be learning the team just as much as the team is learning him. So it's going to be a process. That's what I want to watch to see that dynamic of how they react together, because we know they're probably not going to jump out and win races early. It's going to be a process, and can he put them back in line by the time the season ends? So Ryan, hunter-reay, and ECR is a group I'm going to be watching this weekend. Couple tidbits. Hunter-reay Road America has been a championship preview for whatever reason. The recent winners there have been coming back to the scenic track and contending for a championship. Will Power, former series champion, won in 2016. 3 of the top 5 finishers that year in Road America were also in the top 5 at season's end for the championship. Dixon won in 2017, won a title a year later. Joseph Newgarden won the championship in 17, won the race in 18. 3 of the final top 5, 3 of the final in the point standings, the top 5 drivers also finished in the top 5 at Road America that day. It just seems to be the theme. At least 3 of the top 5 drivers are probably going to be the ones that are going to be fighting for the championship come this fall. So that's something you're going to want to keep an eye on. Talked about Andretti. McLaren trying to keep some momentum going outside of Pato O'Ward. Felix Rosenqvist has been quicker. Alexander Rossi's got a lot of it coming in. Can they keep that momentum going? Ray Hall, they look great in the natural road course in Indianapolis. This is another natural road course. They had 2 of the top 10 finishers last year. The month of May was a disaster once they moved from road course to oval trim. So we'll kind of want to see what they do on a natural road course this week. And one that they've been good at. Can they get that speed back, or is their downward slide going to continue? And a late race restart. We saw the Indy 500. We saw this race the last 2 years. We saw that Detroit. We saw several of Detroit, I should say. Does that dictate the race? So those are some things we're watching, some storylines to look out for the 8th race of the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series season. Next week, IndyCar's off. NASCAR's back, though. They'll be at Nashville. Kickstarts 20 straight weeks to the finish to decide the championship from Nashville to Phoenix. We'll be on Prime Sports Network again, 2 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday. It'll be a live show, so be sure to tune in. So we'll have that back on next week and 20 weeks to the finish. So hopefully this show provides you some help for this weekend's IndyCar race, and we'll talk to you IndyCar side in 2 weeks from Mid-Ohio, and NASCAR on Tuesday again at 2 Eastern on the Prime Sports Network for a live show previewing Nashville. Thank you.